I am become death,
Yeah.
the destroyer of worlds. That's not exactly what Lord Krishna said.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Made famous by misreading the verse.
Namaste. Welcome to this episode of the Bhagavad Gita series with my sister Bhavna Didi and me, Amish Tripathi. Didi, the time has come to discuss time in the Bhagavad Gita, and we will do that through two verses, one from chapter 11, the other from chapter 8. I'll read the first one. Chapter 11, verse 32. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Kalosmi Lokaksh Krit Pravridho Lokan Samahartum Iha Pravrittah Ritepi Tvam Na Bhavishyanti Sarve Ye Vasthitah Pratyanikeshu Yodaha. Didi, the translation.
The Supreme Lord said, I am mighty time, the source of destruction that comes forth to annihilate the worlds. Even without your participation, the warriors arrayed in the opposing army shall cease to exist. मैं समय हूँ.
Raza Murad's voice. No, thoda deeper. मैं समय हूँ. मैं समय नहीं एक मिनट मैं समय हूँ. अरे यार रजा मुराद की आवाज नहीं हो सकती.
समय हूँ.
अरे रजा मुराद जी यहाँ के आप कर दीजिए या कहीं आप वीडियो भेज दीजिए, हम प्ले कर देंगे. क्या आवाज है यार उनकी.
In the
क्या आवाज दी थी
Mahabharata
भगवान ने
of the
उनको.
80s,
In the
right?
Mahabharata of the 1980s, मैं समय हूँ.
मैं समय हूँ.
But this verse was also quoted in the recent movie Oppenheimer. Rather misquoted.
Yes.
Um,
Made famous by misreading the verse.
I am become death,
Yeah.
the destroyer of worlds. That's not exactly what Lord Krishna said.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Because he said, I am mighty time, not now I am death, destroyer of the worlds. Quite different.
And that's I think, one of the differences in the Indian approach to time and the Western approach to time. We have the same word, Kaal, for time and for death. And the Lord, and of course, Lord Shiva is, the Lord of time, Mahakaleshwar ji. But the Lord of death is Lord Yama, who's also the Lord of Dharma.
Yeah.
So, in our Indian way, time, death, and dharma are deeply interlinked, something that's not really there in the Western approach.
Absolutely. And also in Hindi, Kal, Aaj or Kal is, Kal is yesterday as well as tomorrow, because in some sense, as we will see in the next verse, time is so vast. And yet in some other sense, time is just this moment.
When I was young, the schools we went to, Mummy, Ma and Pa sent us to schools of a different social standard from what we were born in. And I remember it used to be fashionable in those days in our schools and colleges to criticize India. And one of the lines that was used is कि यार इस देश में yesterday and tomorrow have the same word. इस देश का कुछ नहीं हो सकता. And actually you grow up and you realize that's a very deep philosophy actually.
Yeah.
It's not a linear approach to time. It's not that God said let there be light and then time moves in a linear moment and then there is destruction. Time is actually circular. We get enough chances.
Not only is time circular, but
Or more specifically a kind of spiral.
Spiral.
If you read the Bhagavad.
That's true. But time in one sense is horizontal. In another sense, it is vertical. This moment which becomes timeless. Like when Rakesh Sharma ji went to outer space and said, Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara.
Yeah.
Right?
Timeless
Or even that press conference, right, of Zelensky and Trump. It's become a timeless moment.
Okay. We shall not make any political
defeating
comments.
time. But the next verse.
Yeah, but when I was seeing that, I was wondering, this can't be real. But okay. So, Didi, there's another shlok as well in the Bhagavad Gita which speaks of time. Chapter 8, verse 17. Sahasra yuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha. The translation.
So the translation is, one day of Brahma lasts 1,000 cycles of the four ages, and his night also extends for the same span of time. The wise who know this understand the reality about day and night.
And the four ages, I mean, everyone knows that: Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, and Kal Yug.
Correct. And the four together, the four ages, which is the four yugas, okay, make a Mahayug. And 1,000 Mahayugs make one day of Brahma.
Wow.
Okay. And one day of Brahma is a Kalp. And one night of Brahma is Pralay. And Lord Brahma's lifespan is 100 Kalps.
Wow. And a Kalp itself, in this conception, is 43 lakh 20,000 years. Right? It's one of the things that Carl Sagan, the brilliant scientist and astrophysicist, had said, that the only ancient culture which had a conception of time similar to modern theoretical physics, going into billions of years, was actually the ancient Dharmic civilization, the Hindu, Buddhist, Jain conception
Correct.
of the universe. Because most other civilizations, they couldn't imagine creation being more than a few thousand years old. Time didn't go back that far.
That's true.
Yeah.
And in the next verse in the Gita, it says that one day of Brahma is the time of creation, is the time of the universe flowering. And the night of Brahma is when the universe goes to sleep. Like we go to sleep,
Yeah.
Brahma goes to sleep.
One of the things that had fascinated me when I first learned of the Big Bang Theory, and our family, we always like to read beyond the textbooks, so we discover new stuff. So Big Bang, we had learned that this is how, that's a theoretical physics explanation for creation, that this is how the universe emerged. And I had a question that, okay, if it's emerging here, how is it going to end, right? And there is a brief history of time out there. Okay, so one of the theories was that Big Bang would lead to an expansion of the universe, and ultimately the universe would all come back, and that was called the Big Crunch, if you remember.
Yeah.
Now there's another theory that the universe will just dissipate.
Yeah.
To me, the conception of time, the way the ancient dharmics saw it, with Lord Brahma's day and Lord Brahma's night, is a lot like the Big Bang and the Big Crunch. That it just expands out from an infinitesimal nothingness into everything, and then it just crunches back into an infinitesimal nothingness. The Big Crunch.
We also had a name for it because one day of Brahma is a Kalp, right? Lifetime of Brahma is 100 Lord Brahma's days, right? And that is the Mahakalp. So Big Bang is the Mahakalp and the Big Crunch is the Mahapralaya. We already had those names.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating.
So time is so vast now, Amish, and Lord Shiva is the Lord of Time.
The Lord of Time, the Mahakaleshwar. For a documentary shoot, we just visited the Mahakaleshwar ji recently. We prayed out there. The great Lord of Time, Lord Shiva, and the ancient zero meridian actually ran, the Indian zero meridian actually ran through the Mahakaleshwar ji. And the Tropic of Cancer also bisected out there. It's a much more logical place.
Correct.
For the zero meridian as compared to the Greenwich Mean Time, or what is there in Greenwich, because the sun will never be directly overhead out there. And that's one of the things that actually fascinates me about ancient Indians, the obsession with understanding time and understanding space. And in the Bhagavad Puran, from what I recall, at the smallest level, the Anu level, space and time are the same in the Bhagavad Puran, which modern theoretical physics says as well. These are fascinating parallels. I'm not saying that both different civilizations, the Dharmic civilizations and the Western civilization, approach the same result, but the parallels are fascinating. that even the ancient Indians seem to know that space and time at the smallest level are actually the same.
Have you heard that song, Alan Parsons' project, Time?
Yeah.
It's flowing like a river
Yeah.
to the sea till it's gone forevermore.
Till it's gone forever. Those who haven't heard this song or heard of the Alan Parsons project, Western band, fantastic, man. I mean, it was 70s, 1970s, I think.
Not sure. I think so.
Yeah. Check it out. Google their songs. I'm sure you'll love it. And now the time has come. Sorry for this really terrible joke, but the time has come to call an end to this episode of the Bhagavad Gita series. I hope you had a wonderful time watching this episode on time. And now I think the time has come to end the jokes on time. And I'm really sorry about the terrible jokes. But if you like this episode, maybe not the jokes at the end, but if you like this episode, hit like and subscribe below so that you can get notified the next time a new episode of the Bhagavad Gita series launches. Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna.